What's going on, y'all? Sorry we're a couple minutes late, but you know how it is with me, man. I'm always a few minutes late, but getting caught up talking to my homies in the back, and I'm glad to have John and FireGuy Ryan on the channel today. This is going to be a fun one. First time I think I've actually, me and Metaphorical were talking about doing a horror show, like maybe a weekly or monthly, because we're both big horror guys. So I'm just glad to get this, get one of these out of the way and give it a little test drive to see what people think.
Right?
Because, dude, I'm like, if there's anything I can say that I'm like close to with comic books and the comic movies, I'd say horror is right up there. I might even been a horror fan before I was a comic fan. Because, dude, I literally, one of my vivid memories is, I think I was 2 or 3 years old when H2O came out in theaters. And I'm a huge Michael Myers guy.
Now you're making me feel old now.
I know. I feel like I knew that you were gonna say that. Because I'm so young still, man. I'm young, but I'm wild.
We freeze up there. Dylan's all right.
Oh, dude, it's gonna kill me if it does that. Usually my Wi-Fi's been acting okay, perfectly, but now the last day or two, it's been kind of glitching on me.
I will say, like growing up, like so Ryan and I did a top 5 modern horror show with Comic Tom, because these guys, they know their horror front and back. And I grew up with a bunch of guys who were into horror, so like we would do sleepovers in junior high and elementary school, even some, where we were watching all the great slasher movies when we were little. And then even like some of the really bizarre, like Faces of Death. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. That's a wacky, crazy movie.
Yes.
You gonna play your intro?
No, I was just getting ready for the outro, but I can play it. I don't know. It's always look, it's not even doing it right. But
so I grew up with all that stuff, and then I always mentioned that, like, in my hometown, Freddy Krueger, the actor who plays him, Robert Englund, lives there.
Yeah.
We used to see him at the beach like, all the time. Like he's super nice.
Yeah,
he doesn't want you to like come up and ask for autographs, but he would talk to me and my mom all the time. You know, he would just like be like, "Hey, how's it going? How's the water today? What's it? You know, what?" He'd just be down there to body surf or whatever.
So you're out in Cali, but. Are you by the Michael Myers house? Like, it's probably a few hours away. California's so big, you know.
I don't know where the Michael Myers house is.
You know, you didn't know that? Well, they moved it actually, because it used to be on the exact street where they film all that stuff. But they moved it. But there's people, I don't know exactly where it's at. I could probably look it up, but I know that you're not supposed to go on the porch, but people go there like all the time. I think it's actually
that's the issue with that stuff. And I knew that's why Robert Englund was like, don't come up to me for that kind of autograph stuff, because he was like, I don't want anybody showing up at my door or anything. He wasn't like behind a gated community or anything.
Jeez, really? You would think
yeah, but everybody knew where he lived, but everybody was like, who cares? Like he's just a dude. We see him around town all the time.
Let him be.
What do you think if they were to ever I mean, obviously we have gotten a different Freddy, but not the greatest movie. What would you think if would you rather get Robert Englund back one more time, or get just a new relaunch, you know, or whatever they call that, remakes? Dude,
I'm down for one last Robert Englund movie, but
I agree.
For me, Freddy was never my thing. Freddy was never my favorite. And I feel bad for saying that. But I was always a Halloween kid, and those are like the trifecta for me, like Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers. And I think Michael Myers. Those movies are just way scarier for me.
I like waited to talk while the bullshit loading bar, but yo, you're my guy. Just for saying that, I was the same way. Michael Myers all the way. Usually I have my Michael Myers Funko Pop like literally sitting right next to me. That was like, I literally skipped a day in preschool. My mom and dad tried to sneak to H2O without me. I sniffed that out, man. I sniffed it out. I knew they were going. I'm like, you're taking me, man. I don't care if I got to skip school. And I was like 3 years old, I believe, because I was born in 94. Yeah, I was 3 years old. I was just talking to my dad about it. And he's like, they were looking at us like, do you know what you're taking this kid into? And they're like, yeah, he loves Michael Myers. So, like, I was watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like, I'd be sitting on my bed, Indian, what is it? Indian legs crossed.
Indian style,
yeah. In the pitch dark, TV on, like the Poltergeist kid, just watching. My mom walk in, she'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd be like, just watching Killer Clown. She's like, she couldn't, to this day, she can't believe it. I was just watching that stuff. I didn't
get started quite that young, but I will say that, like, as far as films that hold up, Halloween 1, the original, holds up way better than any of the Jason films, and most of the Friday the Nightmare on Elm Street films as well. I think it holds up remarkably well. I will say what I love about Nightmare on Elm Street, it's probably going to get like a notch up for me, is the like cool, trippy practical effect stuff, like the hand coming up out of the bath water. You get the wall that like Freddy's face presses through and onto. Like I love the practical effects. The room that rotates and like the kid goes up the wall and looks like he's defying gravity. But they had a room that would rotate and the camera would stay still, and I just freaking loved that.
Says the Michael Myers house is in South Pasadena.
Yeah, so that's about an hour away from here, up in LA.
Yeah. That ain't bad.
You can't spell Slay without LA.
So I always grew up with Michael Myers. I always watched like all of them, but I wasn't just a fanatic for like Freddy and Jason. I always liked them. I always liked the first and third. Still to this day though, I really just like the first and third Nightmare on Elm Streets. I do like New Nightmare. It's aged really badly with that CGI. I love Freddy versus Jason. And I think, like when I watch some of the Friday the 13th nowadays, I'm like, man,
they don't hold up.
Kills are not that good. Not that good.
And I will say the second they started getting into like an invulnerable like zombie killer, I lost even more interest. Because for me, the horror films that hold up are the ones that like I genuinely feel threatened and peril. And Jason never caused that for me. Occasionally Freddy caused it for me. In the first two Michael Myers films, he definitely gave that fear to me. But the ones that stick with me are the ones that feel authentic. And I was talking to Ryan, and I have an unending love for Zodiac. I think that movie just freaks me out on so many levels because of how real it is. And Silence of the Lambs, that kind of stuff really freaks me out.
Yeah. Oh, I love Silence of the Lambs. Love that. You mean the Robert Downey and Jake Gyllenhaal one, right?
Zodiac's amazing. And just this winter, I reread the book that they
it was literally in grabbing distance.
Criterion,
I got right over here because I love that movie, man.
It's based on two books by the Gyllenhaal character. And I read one of them again this winter, and it's just amazing. The truth behind it is so frightening.
That it is, and especially it's even scarier that they never caught the guy.
That's what I'm watching on my plane back tonight
too.
too.
And I love the way that the book and the film
so
present the information, because in the film they go out of their way not to show you incidents that had no eyewitnesses. So you only get moments that could be independently verified. A victim survived, or a happenstance allowed some moment to be witnessed in some fashion. So all the moments where the killer was completely successful and there was no surviving victim, they leave that out. And you hear about it, but it's not evidence.
Way cool.
And the book really goes into all the moments that because basically all we're left with is circumstantial evidence and innuendo and perception.
Hearsay.
And so it's exciting and horrifying, and that just to have that reality presented.
Well,
and that stuff freaks me out more than Jason in a hockey match.
I agree, because
which is a different kind of horror, right? The stop horror is just comedy almost. It's fun.
Yeah, it's just fun to watch,
Which is what I loved about Scream. When I first saw Scream in the theaters, which is about the same time as H2O, I went with all my buddies who were big horror fans, and we were like, they're finally doing like a all-out horror film. This is going to be. They haven't done a slasher movie like this in forever. And I wish I had horror. Hilarious, that shit was spot on. The actors were a riot. And then I loved the way they both like made fun of horror and they also like paid tribute to horror at the same time. Like it was such a great film. And I had not seen a horror film that good in so long. It was like such a great, Dimension Films getting on the map to start their road to so many other good movies.
That's the one that I think really jump-started the 90s horror movies. And everybody after that really tried to find that vibe or that niche. And they tried to copy it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them worked. I would say, I don't remember if I Still Know What You Did Last Summer came out before or after Scream.
It was after. It was Dimension. It was still the same company that, Final Destination and all these others that came after.
They did. I love those two. I actually really like those.
They all started off real well. Of course, they, when you get to part 5 or 6 or whatever, it all derails, but they start really well.
Let me say hi to the chat real quick. I usually say it in the beginning, but I wanted to let it get up there. We got John first. We got One God Tank. What's going on? 1-2 Comic Talk. What's going on? Thanks for hanging out. That old comic smell. What's up, bro? Wookiee Supremacy. And my man right here, Will, and his dad, Hero and the Kid. Dude, I look forward to seeing that new video you guys are editing. Really enjoyed that first one. I know everyone did, honestly. That was a good one. Dude, I think my videos weren't that good until I got to like 40 videos.
Hey, practice makes perfect, right?
Learning curve, that's for sure.
Well, practice makes pretty damn near perfect. I don't know. It's hard to get perfect, but some people...
even Ryan's talking about Tom and him going over and trying to up the quality of their podcast each time they do one, looking at it, saying, how can we do it better? What could we do better?
Yeah. Just trying to get better with each video. I've always said that. I try to make each video better than the last. Count Von Strange the Fourth. What's going on?
He's got some great comments. I totally agree. Scream broke the mold. And then he says, he shouts out Urban Legends. It's another one.
That's another great one. Ben Compton. What's going on? Taki 616. Yeah, Urban Legend, that was awesome. See, they're all those kind of like college, like youth kids in a way, like not youth really, I'd say college kids that are wild and always kind of, I don't know, always a group of kids, and they just get picked off, and it happens. I'm trying to think of some other good ones there, because that was the time where I was watching so many.
In that sort of 90s slasher stuff, yeah.
I think I'm bigger in the 80s, because how do you feel? I wanted to talk about the change from like 80s, and I feel like it didn't happen as much in the 90s, maybe early 90s, but practical effects, dude, that is something I wish they used more of today. Like they could perfect it if they stuck with, I know it probably costs more to do practical, I think, but if they did that and maybe tweak things with the CGI, I think they could do something perfect. I mean, maybe that's just me. Maybe the CGI, you just can't do it all. But I think those times where you can tell it's a tiny bit fake or something, I think if they could tweak it with a little CGI, just a little bit, I want practical though.
I think horror is the best genre for small scale movies, because they don't get the CGI budget. So like a movie like Saw, you have to film in a week with 3 guys in a room, and there's no possibility of any kind of computer generated anything happening. That's all just going to be real blood. Well, not real blood, but fake blood,
practical, right? Functional, yeah.
And I think that especially carries through to stuff like today. I think the recent horror movies that I love have all been really kind of personal and small, like Hereditary, and
that movie is messed up.
I can't stop thinking about that one.
I do think horror goes through eras. I think the 80s had that the birth of like slasher horror, but then because they were so prolific, you get like Nightmare on Elm Street 7, and you get your Halloween 20s, and you get all these movies. And before long, I think it peters out and you get something different. And I think the 90s had to reboot, and you get Scream basically saying like, well, we're going to tongue in cheek this. It's not going to be as straightforward. We're not going to be as campy, but we're going to make some jokes and have some fun with it. And then that kind of died out because it became the whole dimension thing phased out. And then I think then it went into that whole ghost thing, right? It was all ghosts,
Like the
paranormal.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I never got big into those. I've seen like the first one and maybe the second, but like when people were going nuts about all that, it's just not my thing, honestly, because I'm like, it's like the Blair Witch Project. I'd be like, so what the hell did I just watch? What happened? Where's the monster? Where's the witch? I get the paranormal, those were a little better, I guess, but still, man, it's just.
But that was that style, that ghost kind of style. And then that moved into the torture porn, which some people were like super into. The Saw, I see Hostel and Human Centipede being thrown out in the chat, where it's just like, let's be as graphic and disturbing as we can be. And it's not really like, let me scare you. It's let me disturb you.
Human Centipede was just like disgusting. Disgusting. Hostel, that like literally scared me in a way, like freaked you out. Especially, dude, the Achilles cut, it's still, I can't watch that. But it like scares me too. I don't want to go to Europe because of that shit, dude. I'm like, yo, that shit could be true, dude. Like, there's weird people out there. I was just thinking about that the other night, and it's still like just watching it still to this day. I'm scared to go to Europe because of that movie.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what phase we're in now. I think it's going back to a real indie phase where people are doing something.
A24, baby, A24.
Yeah, A24, making some really cool stuff.
Blumhouse, does Blumhouse run A24?
I don't think so, but they do seem to do a lot like together.
I'll tell you though, man. Those movies by it's gonna kill me. The Key and Peele guy.
Oh yeah. Get Out.
How do you feel about those movies?
I didn't care for Us.
I haven't seen. I've only really seen Get Out. I think it was the only one I've seen.
I really love Get Out, but I think Us.
Get Out is good. But some people go.
It didn't feel like horror.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing.
There's a line where thriller and horror.
Thriller.
Yeah, cross. And I will say a lot of times I pick thrillers and call them horror. I'm one of those guys. So obviously Zodiac and Silence of the Lambs, some people wouldn't call them horror, but they are for me. They're just far enough over the line. Whereas something like Get Out, it feels more like a thinker, and you're worried about things, but it's not jump out scares. Whereas there are moments in Silence of the Lambs, dude, when he turns the lights off on her and she's down in the basement of his place and he's got the night vision goggles.
Yeah.
That shit's horror, man. That is horror. There's a girl stuck in a well and we're doing like night vision goggles.
That's like real life horror.
Get Out.
It's so scary because that could really happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's based off of real life serial killers. You know? What about my buddy Gore Vital said, you know, my friend's parents would take us to the drive-in on weekends. We were Catholic school kids. However, our parents were okay with us seeing Omen, Halloween, Alien. Dude, I still go to the drive-in. Sadly, there used to be one down the street, like 10 minutes away, and it closed down. I hate that it closed down, but there's still one like 30 minutes away we go to every blue moon.
I love you, man. Yeah, those things are they're a dying breed, and I think it's hard for them to keep. Like here in California, there used to be a bunch. When I was little, we used to be able to go, and I probably have only been to a drive-in maybe 5 times in my life because that was like the end of the run.
You would think they'd have a lot out in Cali, like
no, the land is so valuable to leave something big and vacant like that, and only use it for a few hours at night. Like the rest of the day, you have to make enough money at night to pay for all the rest. I know they do like swap meets on it on Saturdays and Sundays, but that's about it.
I think the one I go to even does stuff during the week. Honestly, I think that might be why, because they'll do like retro Wednesday. I believe it could be all summer. You know, that's more. I think they just take advantage of that in the summer time. Actually,
that stuff just I think phased out the more home theater systems got so amazing, and people were like, "Well, I can just watch a movie at home and and not have to drive out." I think that whole experience got lost, and it's a shame because I enjoyed it a few times I went.
The drive-in,
they are some of the most memorable like movies I've seen. There are just so memorable just because of the drive-in. I don't know.
Now, do you guys know? So in Texas, there's the what is the theater? Grindhouse Theater, is that what it's called? Alamo Draft House. and they do these amazing throwback screenings. And one of the ones I've always wanted to do is in the summer, they set up a drive-through screen on a lake, and you can sit in a raft and watch Jaws.
Pass.
Oh my God.
That's terrifying.
So you're on a raft floating on a lake, right?
Woo.
All of these people, just like hundreds of people all floating around in the middle of a lake. And it's summer, so it's hot. It's Texas. And a giant screen is playing Jaws for you.
That's great.
You know, everybody's doing that shit, right? Everybody's swimming around, pulling on this person's foot and this person's foot. That shit's real.
Oh man, I remember just seeing when I think Universal, they did have the Jaws. I don't know. I heard they took it down for some time.
No, it's still there. I just took the girls about a year ago and it was there.
That is the best. That is the best. My grandpa was like, he's like, no, you sit on the end. You sit on the end. You gotta sit on the end. I'm like, you son of a. And dude, when that thing came out, he was like, put your hand in the water, man. Put your hand in there.
Well, I had seen that film probably in junior high somewhere, Jaws, and then I found out it was based on a book that was written. The writer Peter Benchley wrote the book in my hometown,
really,
which is a tiny little beach town.
Yeah,
and
is it based off like a real
read this now? So I spent one summer just reading Jaws at the beach. I have pictures of me. My mom was like, "You are just crazy." I was like 12, 13, and I was at the beach reading Jaws. You know, skinny, scrawny little white kid powering down chips and reading Jaws, and everybody's like, "What is he doing?"
That's probably my mom's like all-time favorite. I've been watching those since I was 2. Yeah, like honestly, since I could remember what I was.
So such a classic.
It's so good. The first 2. It's the first 2 that are the best.
Yeah. The second one is it's everything's each one is a step down, and I think that happens with most horror sequels. But you know, you can't beat Steven Spielberg at like his peak. Like in that late 70s, early 80s, Steven Spielberg was slaying everything he touched. Even when he wasn't directing it, he was like, this Back to the Future thing's good. Here, I'll help produce it and I'll give it to my protege. He can do it.
That's right. And
it was like, even that shit was coming out great. You know, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and you get your Back to the Futures and all this other stuff. That's like, he didn't have the time to make those because he was making his ETs and he's making his Raiders of the Lost Ark and all that other stuff. I
guess he had a little hand in Poltergeist as well.
Yeah, Poltergeist is another one. He had a lot of proteges and he would produce it and then he'd pass it off. Although I hear on Poltergeist, it was such a drama that he came in and shot the end of the movie.
Really?
He did like the last month of the shoot. He came in to fix it.
Yeah, I hear there was a little fiasco with all that. What did I know Ryan's a big Michael Myers guy like myself. What did you guys think of the 2018 Halloween?
I liked it. I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to.
I agree. I love pretty much everything about it. Little too much comedy, like, oh man, there's peanut butter on my penis. Like, shut the hell up, bro. And you notice when he gets killed, and he's laying on the lawn and they run out of that house at the end. Yeah, it's not like, where's dad? Where's my husband? He's totally forgotten. He's knocked out. He's done. But I don't really care about the crazy doctor. And putting the mask on, doing like that was the only thing I could say. Take that out, and I think it's basically a perfect like movie.
That's true. I forgot about that. Honestly, that was a small enough little portion right at the end, and it was like it came out of nowhere. It felt like
when I was like, whoa, I was sitting next to my dad, and we were both like, we like muttered. We were like, oh my god, we thought it was about to take the dumbest turn out. We were like, that's it, it's done. Like. Yeah. But thankfully, it was only for a few minutes, or like a minute.
If he had put that mask on and went on to continue killing people for the rest of the movie, that would have been really depressing.
That's what I was thinking that was about to go down because Michael's down for the count, and you're just like, dude, this is not about to happen.
I think my favorite thing about Halloween in general is that they used a mask from William Shatner. That they took, I don't know if you heard that, but like the mask, Michael Myers mask is just they painted over a William Shatner mask, and that mask, somebody known for being so over dramatic, a plain faced version of him becomes one of the most symbolic elements of horror history.
That's funny.
Seriously. But the mask that's supposed to be William Shatner like looks nothing like him. So I guess they're
it looks nothing like him, but also he's a guy known for being like so over dramatic and having such big expressions. He's got a mask where he's just like stoic, and it's like horrifying.
Yep.
That we don't want him to be so stoic and horrifying. We may have lost Dylan, so we'll just keep rolling, and he might jump back in. Poltergeist is a really freaky movie. When the steak is like crawling across the table. Have you seen Poltergeist?
That's on my list.
He hasn't seen Poltergeist.
Haven't seen it.
Ryan is known for having like missed movies.
I thought Poltergeist though was always one of those ones that wasn't supposed to be like.
My like browser just shut down. Sorry about that, brother.
It's all good.
You're good.
I think it's something. There's a button on my mouse. Like it will sometimes literally just can't like cancel everything out, and I think I accidentally clicked it on my hand.
It happens. Easy fix.
Poltergeist. Is it scary?
It definitely has freaky moments. The idea of like spirits in your house and the way they move through the walls and like that there are several freaky sequences that just mess with me.
Okay.
That I just can't manage.
I never sought it out. I never checked out Poltergeist.
Yeah, I mean, it's got that Spielberg touch. You can tell he knows what he's doing.
There we go.
Dude, damn Wi-Fi. I wasn't saying anything. I could hear you guys though.
Well, we're all here.
Cool. I'm like, as soon as I come back to, and then the Wi-Fi. You know what happened with the Wi-Fi company where I was paying for a long time and they didn't even have me with the right modem.
Yeah.
So like one of the workers just completely didn't say nothing. So I called and I got the bill lowered for the next like year and a half.
Nice.
And now I swear, ever since I called, the Wi-Fi has been messing up. It's like, what did you guys do now? Did you like?
Pull his cord real quick.
They're like, he's paying cheaper, so let's cut him down. And it's like,
let's shut it down.
Yeah, because dude, when I was paying for probably the upgraded, but I wasn't even getting like the regular speed because I would have to reset it like 10 times a day. So it was literally like the crappiest Wi-Fi ever, dude. It just didn't work. And I'm like, most people would have just bounced from you guys.
Hey, Agu Ramos, do you want like today's Sunday times? Because I get it, so I can just hand it to Ryan. He can throw it in he can have something to read on the plane, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, I'll read the LA newspaper on the way back.
Hey, Mike Rogers, the 3 nicest guys in comic book podcasting. Very nice of you, brother. Thank you.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, this took too long to happen, bro. This took way too long. But I hope to have John on much more, and I hope to get Ryan on. I know once he leaves John, we might not see him for a couple months. You never know, Ryan.
Back into my hole. Maybe beat Red Dead. Never. I'll never beat that game.
Ryan's a video game fiend, man. We even got him on the N64 earlier today.
Playing GoldenEye out there with the girls earlier. Losing.
The girls are very happy to have that hooked up again, I'll tell you.
That's important. Got to.
Getting back in there, doing it. Ooh, did I bump something? That was weird.
It's weird too. Nah,
what was that doing?
Right?
It's so weird. Like I used to be able to use. Okay, here. 1 second. I'm about to connect to my.
That's a thumbs up. So maybe.
Agu, okay, he wants the Saturday. I got the Sunday one. It's a bigger paper, but can you fit it all right?
I got that portfolio out of my bag, so
there you go.
We're good.
There you go.
It'll be like the one thing I bring home. Well, and Last Gotten issue number 2.
Right.
That's important.
Which let me talk about horror. There are some drawings in there. In that Last God number 3, there are some drawings in there that are horror nightmare worthy.
Interesting.
Like really creepy stuff. There's nothing like a system where you can insert the game and play it in seconds, right? None of the upload and wait and
patches.
For some reason, I can't even connect to my hotspot. Like I used to use my hotspot when it would act up, and for some reason, it won't let me connect anymore. I don't know why. I have to mess with it. I just hate when I'm doing this and then it loads. I hate that because it shouldn't be doing that. For like 2 weeks straight, I was having perfectly clean streams, no loading at all. It's just weird the last 2 days, you know? Damn.
It's my fault.
But Damn, Wi-Fi. 2nd Street Marvel, what's going on, brother? I saw your comment earlier, but whatever. I must have passed you. Sorry, I passed you up, brother. Glad to have you in here, man, and thanks for taking the time out your day to come hang out. I know he's not a big horror guy, but it seems like 2nd Street's been getting into some more horror lately. I went to a drive as a teenager. My girlfriend.
Yes, Comic Assassin. He is playing Red Dead Redemption. If you want,
yeah, I got the second one as well. I bought it last year for Christmas. It's I get all those Rockstar games because I love Grand Theft Auto.
Dude, now you're talking. Horror and Rockstar is like, that's all I need.
Dude, those I'm not big.
You gotta play Manhunt. That's what I'll slip that in there while you're lagging.
2nd Street Marvel says, now I need to hear Perry's super chat ringtone. I met Kobe.
Perry in here now? I'm just talking about Perry.
Wookiee supremacy. I met Kobe once too, and it was very nice. And it was that. Yeah, that's kind of shocking. Yeah, kind of sad. If you guys didn't know, Kobe, passed away today.
The internet. I forgot about other shark movies too.
All right, I got my Wi-Fi hotspot, so that should be better. So I don't want to have to walk away and scream at my brother's boyfriend to get off the Wi-Fi.
By the way, which was yesterday,
pretty much.
I'm sorry, John. What did you mention before I switched my internet?
I was just saying it looks like Wookiee was mentioning meeting Kobe Bryant, and because he passed away. Obviously,
I know, man. I say, moment of silence for the main man, Kobe Bryant. Like, dude, what an athlete, and dude, just gone too soon. I know he had some troubles in his life, but dude, he was a great basketball player. I don't know how he was as a person, but I know he was passionate as hell. I know some people get with all that stuff that he had in his past, but he was always a great basketball player. I think he's a cool guy from all the videos I've seen. And dude,
and FYI, he was into comics. So he came to comics a little bit late. He was playing for the Lakers, and he was in the off season, and he saw that movie Sin City, and he then rolled into a shop I used to go to, and my friend was in there, and Kobe comes in, and he's like looking for comics. He's like, "That Sin City movie is amazing. I want to read some cool stuff." And my friend put him onto a couple different comics. And he apparently went back to that store a few more times during the years. So he got into comics because of Sin City.
Dude, a great topic. Count Von Strange. Everyone overlooks it, but dude, I love Halloween 3.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Dude, it's so good.
Like,
you cannot think it's like a Michael Myers movie. You have to get that out of your head and watch it as a standalone, because you know how American Horror Story does like a new season every year, but it's different, but it does revolve with the similar actors. That's what John Carpenter was trying. Him and Deborah Hill, they wanted to they never wanted to do sequels of Michael Myers. They forced him to do the second one, and he doesn't even really like it. So he did the second one. But Halloween 1 was supposed to be meant to be like one of many just random Halloween movies. If he never did the second one, this might have been the second one, and it would have been kind of like an anthology movie series.
Yeah,
one Halloween movie, a different one every year.
It's decent. For me, I couldn't get into it as much. It's good. It's not bad at all.
It's not like Masks or something, right? Like.
Yeah,
I don't know. A vague idea. There's a TV and the mask in it.
Here, let me. No, it's like these masks that are like laced with these things, and they're gonna put this TV show on at a certain time on Halloween, and then the masks are gonna they're like, you gotta wear your mask on Halloween and put it on for the show, and then they're gonna these snakes and bugs and all this crap come out of the mask. It's dude, it's wicked. I love it. It's just really, it's a John Carpenter. It's not. Yeah. I think he wrote it, but he didn't direct it. But he produced it.
Yeah.
It's I think is the score done by him? I'm trying to think. Cause I love a score by John Carpenter. But
we were talking about that last
by John Carpenter. Yep. Dude,
great scores.
You have to check this out, Ryan. You said you didn't really like it, John?
Yeah, it was all right. I don't have a lot of love for it, but yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah. So which is your favorite? The first Halloween?
Of those films? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't beat that original.
Yeah.
The music, the style. I love the doctor at the hospital. My favorite moment is when he pulls up to the hospital at night and the lights on his car pan over all the inmates that are out, and you're like, oh crap.
Yep.
That moment is like freaky as heck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a really good like redux of that, I thought, in the 2018 version. Like when they're driving, it was the kid and his dad driving down the road, and they drive past the truck full of inmates walking around, and it was they had a lot of cool like callbacks, I think, to the first movie in this newer one.
I love the second one. It's like, you ever heard of Scream Factory? It's like a kind of like a Blu-ray company, and they sometimes release these horror movies that don't get. Sometimes these movies, you notice, some that were on VHS, they've never been transferred to DVD or Blu-ray. And sometimes they'll do those and put out like a Blu-ray, or sometimes they'll just do a special edition version. They give you like a cool, like a double-sided cover. Like I could switch this for Halloween 2, or I just do the classic one. But also, dude, it came with like a television version. So it's like a cool like cut of Halloween 2. But you get extra footage, extra, making ofs and interviews. But
I love the way Halloween 2 played off of Halloween 1. I think those two movies, you almost can watch them just as one extended film, and I think they work perfectly. And it's one of those rare times that I think a sequel could just perfectly connect to what went in front of it. Just like, in my opinion, Alien and Aliens.
Oh, I was just watching Aliens when you
were
were
asleep. The credits roll, the credits unroll. She wakes up from hyperspace. It's like it just flows. And even the opening bits, her haircut the same. The cat, the cat's in there with her. And
I think that was a wig, though.
The cold sweats, and all of it is just so seamless.
I think that was a wig.
It totally was. I'm sure of it.
Do any of you guys like Paul Rudd's first role?
Oh yeah.
I love the slipcover because it's like a VHS box.
That's the fourth one, right?
Sixth. I love the fourth one. That's Return of Michael Myers with the little girl. It's in the Rob Zombie remakes that plays the friend. Actually, she's in both of them, but this is the one with Paul Rudd. It's kind of where it gets into that culty. This is the one where they get the cult stuff. I think that they kind of do the cult stuff in the first two, but it's more like breadcrumb trails. This is where they go like full Michael Myers cult. But dude, yeah. You have to check out that Scream Factory because they get some good ones. Like, I always got to talk about Stephen King, but before I do, this is another classic for me. I love this one. And see, like, they do this awesome slipcover, and then you could, like, you got the original one.
Is that the original or the remake?
This is the remake, I believe, because the original, there's like a black and white one.
Yeah.
This is the one with, who is it? Kevin Dillon.
Okay. Because the original, I think, had Steve McQueen, I want to say.
Okay, yeah. I don't see that one wasn't, I believe I remember seeing that when I was young, but I don't think that one made any impression on me. Like this one, the effects are nuts in this too, man.
You got to highlight Biggie Shaq's comment. That is hilarious. I love Biggie Shaq. Brother, you are on fire. He says, Comic Tom had a rough year. He looks like he's aged rapidly.
Where's Yo, Biggie?
Oh, you are epic, brother. You are too much.
All right, brother. There's somebody too. Oh, I haven't seen him, but the guy, my Hunter Thompson, he was like message him on Instagram, and I messaged him, but he never got back to me. So we'll have to see. I haven't seen him since, so I hope he's all good. Yeah,
thanks, Count Von Strange. I thought it had Steve McQueen in it, the original.
Apex Comics, what's going on? Mike Rogers. Yeah, R.I.P. Kobe, no doubt. Yeah, dude. My boy was like, yeah, bro. He's like, sacrifice. I'm like, and I was like, okay. And then I seen the helicopter crash. I'm like,
yeah. Yo, I know my brothers were really shook up.
Someone put Kobe in the Lazarus pit.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Discovery Bay Comics in the house. I'm like so far down.
It's all right. There was a lot. The chat's bumping, man. You got a good chat.
Well, it was going. It started off a little slow, but that's why sometimes I wait a couple minutes, let it build up. But we got what Grant Morrison wrote 2 issues, a Hellblazer story similar to Halloween in the comic, a small town used the mask to release dark side of their nature. I love that. I read that Joker one, but I don't. Did you read that Hellblazer? Because I know you.
I read so little on Hellblazer. I've done I read the one that they did.
That's all I've
that Tom and
that's what I thought.
Did. That's
what
is that? The
Dangerous Habits.
Dangerous Habits. I read that story, and then I tried the new Black Label they released recently, and didn't love it. So I was like, yeah, I'll skip the second issue on that one.
For John Carpenter movies, you like this one?
I saw it. It was
It's not the best, but I enjoy it. It's a little something different. I probably usually I went and bought it, but I've been trying to get the whole Carpenter collection.
Sure,
I love Carpenter.
He's got so many great movies, and obviously there's going to be some better than others, but like in the 80s, that guy was unbeatable. I mean, Ryan had him as a #1 on sci-fi films for the 80s. I mean, The Thing.
Yeah,
and it's part of that Kurt Russell trilogy for me. You get your Escape from New York, you get your Thing. And then what's
Big Trouble Little China?
Big Trouble Little China. There you go. Yeah,
that one.
So,
for some reason, I'm not as big on the Escape from New Yorks and stuff. I'm not as big on those.
I think it's when you saw it. So I saw that one.
Yeah,
I saw that one before Big Trouble and probably before The Thing. I probably saw Escape from New York first.
Okay.
And I was just digging. Snake Plissken is cool as AF. He slays me, and the eye patch and the one-liners, and yeah, I dig. He's the Harrison Ford as Han Solo that shot first.
Right.
He's not gonna take any crap from anybody. He's gonna get his. You better watch it, and I dig him. Snake Plissken, awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah. Actually,
I still love the fact that the sequel is pretty garbagey. But I love that they shot that whole basketball sequence where he has to shoot. He shoots it wearing an eye patch. So
that's pretty cool.
Depth perception with one eye. He has to make all the baskets in one shot, so they're not like cutting to the hoop.
Oh wow!
He has to make the easy ones, the jumper, the layup, all that stuff. But he makes a half court shot, and he makes a full court shot
with one eye.
With an eye patch on. Kurt Russell, the actor, is doing. They made sure he made every shot and that they got the ball in the frame for every shot.
You can fill in for Kobe.
I forgot, dude. Arrow Video, they actually put out a bunch of movies too, like Scream Factory. I usually go with Scream Factory because they do these awesome covers and stuff.
Sure.
Arrow does a lot too. Like I was gonna get the Arrow Video of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'm sure I'm probably like the only huge fan of that in here. You guys like that?
I don't even know that I've heard it. Oh, Killer Clowns? Yeah.
Yeah.
I only saw it the one time. I think I came to that one later in life. I think I was in college by the time I finally got around to seeing that one.
Yeah. I love that one. It's so campy, but I love it. I got one of the Funkos and they just released the other 3 and they look so cool, man. I'm getting all of them, no doubt. I can't miss out on them. Yes, it was good though. I love that one. So what do you guys think of Stephen King? You before I start on some of his classics, have you seen
the books or the films?
Oh, I mean both. I love his books. I have his books. I don't have all of them. I wish I did, but I love his movies as well. Some obviously aren't that good.
Nobody can write an idea and 3/4 of a book like Stephen King. But then also nobody can fall on their face and fuck up a good story as good as Stephen King in the final pages of some.
Yeah, he's got some good endings, but
I still can't handle The Stand. Like The Stand should have been the all-time great, war post-apocalypse novel. And he quite literally has God come down and kill the bad guys at the end.
Have you read it as like a lost parallel, like a lost allegory? Because they took as much stuff as they did.
They did. That's what I wanted the show. It's called The Stand. I wanted the good and the bad guys to stand against each other and have the battle at the end. And they robbed me of that. And I wanted a Braveheart ending with I
haven't seen that either.
The bad guys army, and they're rushing towards each other in the middle of like the desert. desert and just like with, makeshift weapons beating the snot out of each other. I wanted the fight
showdown.
And I can't believe
Not Lord of the Rings.
I can't believe The Stand ended with God coming down and
I don't even remember how it ended.
There's a drawing in the original book of the hand of God touching the nuke and blowing all the bad guys up. The bad guys are, getting their powers together in Vegas. The good guys are in Colorado in the mountains. And one of the crazier bad guys has found a nuke from an old silo.
Trash can guy,
and
right?
he's driving it into Vegas. And he rolls into Vegas, and God's hand just comes down and blows the nuke up and kills the bad guys.
Jacob.
Like, that shit sucks. I'm sorry. That novel was so freaking good. And then that last second is like, what? That's how this is going to end? Why couldn't God just do that at the beginning? Why couldn't the plague just kill the bad guys and leave the good guys good? Like, what the hell is this all about?
Yeah.
So my love for Stephen King rides a roller coaster where I'll read something like my favorite is Different Seasons. It's one of his four short stories in a book. You get The Body, which became Stand By Me, an amazing film.
Yeah.
You get Shawshank Redemption, which, of course, it's called Rita Hayworth in the Shawshank Redemption. Great story. You get Apt Pupil, which became a movie with Ian McKellen about a boy who thinks a former Nazi is living next door, and he tries to force him out of hiding to see if he actually was there and worked in the gas chambers. Really creepy. I mean, it's just a great collection of stories, and I think those short stories have a clear ending. They work. The stories are amazing. So I love that one. I love, The Shining. The Shining's got a great ending, so that one works for me. I just feel like there's too many of them that just right at the end they just face plant.
Yeah. Like, have you seen his new show, The Outsider?
I haven't,
dude.
I'm 2 out of 3.
Yeah. You've only seen 2 out of 3, but
I saw the first premiere, like the double premiere at the beginning.
Yeah. Episode 4 comes out tonight. What do you think?
So good.
So good. You gotta check it, John.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It's amazing. And they say that the book actually is amazing. Like the way it ends. I don't know the twist or anything, but they say that it's totally unique. So, and some of the reviews I've watched or listened to, they said that it's one of his best books. And it's a recent book too, from the last maybe 5 years, I believe. So it might even I think it might have came out a couple years. It might not even have been 5 years.
And so I think some of his movies, some of the movies from his stuff are almost better because the directors and writers make little changes to make it a little stronger. But that's why everybody saw it, chapter 1, and they were like, "Oh my god, this movie's fucking amazing!" And then it came out, and everybody was like, "This movie fucking sucks." And it's because the end of that story is lame. Part 1, all the best stuff happens with the little kids.
The ending brings me to tears, though. Like,
it's so good.
That book is like a pure commentary on like childhood and growing up.
Good. That book is really good.
But something about like the way they finally confront and kill the clown is like, it's such a letdown.
Who cares about that?
You want to see that clown get his ass beat. You want to see that clown get
just yelling at him.
Free. It's just like,
you free. It's just like whatever they were calling him. I just couldn't. I was like, this is really what we're doing. One I want to say before I forgot, the Body Bags by Carpenter. That's kind of like short stories. That's one I feel like it's totally underrated, and I love Body Bags. But this might be my favorite Stephen King movie, at least.
I don't know it.
Oh my god! This is Corey Haim. Corey Haim.
Was that Corey
Haim, Gary Busey and Corey Haim, bro.
That's some 80s goodness right there.
Oh my god, this is amazing. This is a Scream Factory too, because you can't. This is the only time they've ever released it on Blu-ray.
Okay.
I think the DVD might be kind of hard to get, but you can get if you can watch it digital easily. I could probably find you a copy on the internet, and I'll send you the link. It is amazing, though. I've heard some people like kind of
85. Is that what it is? Screenplay by Stephen King.
Yeah, 85.
Yeah, Corey Haim, Gary Busey.
It's
Ariel Quinn. There we go.
It's Cycle of the Werewolf. That's the novel.
Okay,
that's
what I was.
Yeah, because they recently did a comic book version, I believe, of that too. There's like some people say like the wolf is a little like they were going really unique with the wolf. I love it though. I never really noticed it. They said he kind of looks like a bear in a way, but it's just he looks dope, dude. I love it. And I'm sure I wish it's one you would have saw in like a while ago because obviously stuff kind of ages, but I still think it holds up. It's just a fun time and it's a great Corey Haim movie. You know, from Lost Boys, you can't go wrong with it. I think it's one you will enjoy, even if you can if you can look past maybe some of the wolf effect.
For people that grew up watching those kind of movies, like you know what the special effects will be like. It doesn't for me. It doesn't take away. You know, there's moments we watched Road Warrior yesterday. There's moments when the blood effects or whatever are like
you're like me then. You don't let that. You don't. But you're
still like, damn, that was freaking cool. That guy just caught a razor bladed boomerang to the head. That was awesome. You know, they're so caught up in the moment.
I know.
You're not looking at like, oh, that looks like Play-Doh on that guy's face.
Too red.
Yeah, right? I agree, man. I love because I'll even if I have to, I'll be like, dude, this was made then. So you're thinking about how I never try to let that affect me. You know, there's I know they said you're into the indie ones. One, it's maybe not as indie anymore. Indie horror, Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway Camp. Is that when did that come out?
Oh my God. You guys never seen Sleepaway Camp?
It sounds like it's a take on,
but you need to watch the first one. It has the craziest twist. It's like it's so campy, but it's so amazing.
Yeah. So when I said Ryan likes indie horror, I think it's more like the modern
comic books,
indie horror and indie comics. Yeah. So like he put me onto what was the one that's got like 2 movies now where it's like up at the lake and the creepy guy it's just him talking to the girl like the whole movie. What's that series? There's like 2 of them where he invites them up to interview him and he's just super creepy.
Oh,
Creep. That's sense. What it is. Yeah, Creep. Have you seen Creep?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It was on Netflix last I checked. There's 2 of them.
Okay.
And
Tom turned me onto that one actually.
It's one of those movies that's like it's not your typical horror. In fact, it doesn't even have like jump out scare moments. It just has moments that slowly creep you out. You just slowly get incredibly uncomfortable with what's happening, and it just keeps upping the level of discomfort. Yes,
I don't even remember people dying. I gotta watch
the ending of the original film is just like a straight murder.
Yep.
So Creep is if you like just getting literally creeped out like that, that's a movie. It's not going to be slasher. It's not going to be jump out and scare you. It's just going to make you very uncomfortable.
I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. But sometimes I'll go and I'll be like, oh no, I've seen this, but I don't think I've seen that because sometimes I'm.
Count Von Strange in the chat is shouting it out too, but there's 2 of them. I like them equal. Okay. I don't think you could even say I don't particularly think even one is better than the other. They just play beautifully off of each other.
Really good.
There's a good Netflix movie called The Ritual that I really liked.
Ritual.
Creepy, like them, and they're like get caught in these woods, and it's just crazy, like cult type shit is going on, but like almost like Village status, but they're like lost in these woods. And like when you watch it, you'll be like, dude, I'm never going in the fucking woods ever. Like, because they get lost and it's like, they can't get out. All they see are trees and trees and trees. And it's just like, holy crap, that would just be so scary. So this doesn't look familiar to you guys?
No, it doesn't.
There's 3 of them. The first one is it's a horror, but it's kind of like the first Friday the 13th. It's like a whodunit. You're trying to figure out who the killer is. The second 2 are just straight slashers because the killer is already acknowledged in the first one. But it's a good one, man. It's really, dude, it's just a fun one to watch. It's like really campy, but it's like perfect.
And as far as like Count Von Strange is saying, that Creep is a found footage film. I think that it's hard to pull off that genre, but it's like it's so low budget, so low tech. Like it's just a video camera and 2 people basically the whole movie.
Yeah,
but it's just it's because the performers are spot on and the way it builds.
Too, I think.
Yeah, the writer is the main bad guy or whatever of the series. Something like that. But if you want like a high end, what was the one that you mentioned at the beginning of the show?
Hereditary.
Hereditary is like high end creep horror, and that one like messed. The ending to that movie is insane and scared the daylights out of me.
Yeah.
I know that
I saw that in theaters actually.
my friends love Witch.
That
Right?
kid,
And
the
Alec and
car ride.
TJ are obsessed with Witch.
And me.
And
I wouldn't say obsessed, but I really love The Witch.
the one with like the family in the like early colonial days of the U.S. and there's like the witch in the woods and like the evil like religious kind of sides to it. I found that movie boring and then hilarious. Like I laughed at the goat. I'm sorry. I think the goat is freaking hilarious. When it like strikes the dad, I was laughing. It seemed like I was watching like a YouTube video of like accidents with animals. It was like I just started laughing. I was like, this is hilarious. And then the goat starts talking, and you're like, it's just, but you lost me, buddy. You had me, and you get with the creepy witch and the pestle. That's when you had me.
Sometimes
The
those
creepy
movies,
witch, the wood and the blood, and she's working in the pestle and the mortar there. And I'm like, okay, that's creeping me out. And then you get to the goat, and I'm like,
what you don't see, in my opinion, what you don't see is always scarier than what you do see. And I think that's why Rosemary's Baby has knocked Halloween out of my favorite horror spot. Like
Rosemary's Baby.
I'm pretty sure it's my favorite horror movie now. I go back and forth, but
The Witches.
I'm assuming you've both seen Exorcist as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got a copy of it in my thing.
Yeah, no, Rosemary's Baby underappreciated. But hey, obviously you're a Polanski poster behind me. I'm gonna like some Rosemary's Baby. You know that.
Dude, the motorcycle wheelchair in Silver Bullet is the best.
I know there are people shouting out little moments from Silver Bullet for you.
It's so good. But I don't know if you saw my comment, Biggie. But Brian De Palma, he directs Scarface.
De Palma's a talented guy. He's had several all-time great movies.
What was that?
What was the one we were talking about for action film night? Somebody brought up.
You know what I hate about The Witch, though? I hate those movies that, like, this girl is trying to tell their parents something. I do like The Witch. I just hate that. I hate those movies when somebody is trying to, like, tell their parents something, and they're just, like, they totally are just blowing them off or, like, saying, yeah, like, you're crazy. And I know it's, like, the old times, and they're, like, thinking she's, like, a witch or something, but I just was like, you dumb fuck, like, listen to your daughter, you know? Like, it's just one of those movies. But it's a slow-paced movie. It's not for everyone. I'm surprised that's your favorite, though.
Oh, no, my favorite Rosemary's Baby. Not the
Okay, I got you.
No, I was saying, like, I don't know that they'll say it's their favorite, but I know that like Alec and TJ give me a lot of grief about how I didn't like Witch, and they're like, it's the most amazing modern horror film that we love it. It's incredible.
Yeah, Rosemary's Baby is really good. I actually watched it a few months ago. And I never realized it, but you ever seen This Is the End? That crazy funny movie? Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, that's where they took that Jonah Hill getting freaking raped by the demon part. I was like, oh my God. I never put two and two together. And I watched it like a couple months ago. Because I've seen that since my mom actually really always liked that. So I've seen that. That was probably one of the first few I've seen growing up. As a kid, though, it's a little slow. You can't appreciate it as much. But when I rewatched it like a few months ago, I was like, wow, this is really good.
And I brought up Witch because I thought Hereditary was so superior of a film. And Hereditary, it has plenty of creepy moments leading up to the finale. And then finale is
horrible.
One of the greatest horror finales I've ever seen in a movie. Like for me, it's and the actual exorcism at the end of that movie, and the end of Hereditary, and they're both.
I love everything.
Amazing sequences,
but all the naked people. That shit is so stupid to me. It's so point. Like, can you tell me if you don't mind it? Tell me the reasoning for it.
Because at the end of Hereditary in the house.
Just all the naked people, period.
Obviously, satanic worship. They're all just worshiping, and it's the most pure worship. That's how they're giving over their body.
Midsummer, though, it just seems like this guy wants to just show off nude old people in his movies.
That was Rosemary's Baby too. They were the cult of Satan people. They got naked too.
Did they? I forgot. I don't remember that.
That's probably a good thing, you know.
Yeah, because I'm already scarred from Hereditary. I've only seen that once or twice, but it is a great movie. Great.
Did you like it Midsummer, was that good? I haven't seen that yet.
Which one?
Midsummer?
Midsummer. I did watch it, but I watched it and it was kind of buffering. I'm trying. It was kind of a little weird. It was, everyone was going nuts about it, like Jordan Peele saying it's the best thing ever. I think the best part of it was the girl who's gonna play Yelena Boblovich in the Black Widow movie. I forget what her name is now, but she's in that movie and she's a great actor.
Everything I heard about it said it sounded very similar to like the original Wicker Man. Like
yes, it's kind of got
and the mood
a couple
and
movies tied in.
The cult kind of aspect.
Yeah, it feels like he took pieces from like the Wicker Man, and there's one other one I can't think of it, but he took like 2-3 movies and he kind of made his own thing, but added like I forget what it is, like the whatever cult type shit that he is doing in the movie actually is kind of, he did a lot of research for it. Forget, maybe it's like Romanian or something. It's something weird. It's worth a watch. It's really slow though. It's not as good as Hereditary in my opinion. Not like even close. It's like a lot more culty, lot slower. I think The Witch was better, honestly. It's really bright though.
Okay.
It has a lot of trippy things to it. You know, like I don't know. Like it's a lot of drugs being taken also. So a lot of hallucinogenic type scenes in a way.
All right.
It definitely goes more with the naked shit than Hereditary. He didn't hit that stride. I feel like he hit in Hereditary.
I think Ryan put me onto, or maybe I put The Invitation. Did you ever see that film?
It's been on my list on Netflix forever. I haven't watched it though.
Have you seen The Invitation?
I
want to say that one was on Amazon, and it centers around a guy who was married and they had a kid and they lost their kid and they've since separated. He's got a new gal he's with, and his ex comes back to town with her new boyfriend, and they're throwing a big dinner party and they invite him. And he's like, I don't really want to go, but I kind of feel like I have to. And it's all basically in the house of the dinner party. Subtly weird things are happening.
It's the Upgrade guy.
20 minutes are horror. Okay. The rest are just what is going on.
Oh, really?
In the beginning, just little things are happening. Like, why do they keep locking the front door? And why does the front door need a key on the inside? Just little things are happening, and the way the dinner party is going along. And then, you know, as far as like the creepiness of a cult, that element is definitely there.
Cool.
Very real.
I do like that. Let's check that out then. Cool.
It's got the guy from Upgrade and Prometheus.
Yes, the Prometheus. One of the guys from Prometheus.
Yeah. The guy
he's the lead.
The guy that gets sick and then has sex with his girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. That guy.
You had your dose today, Ryan?
What did we watch? That's not an 80s movie, though.
We started before the late stream last night. We started one of my favorite drama comedies, Almost Famous, about music in the 1970s. And,
good time.
Great movie. And we started it and didn't have time to finish, so we finished that this morning. But since then, it's been video games and hanging around.
Indeed.
So we got to pick a movie to watch when we're done with this. Something we can enjoy.
That's not the Billy Crudup one, is it?
It is the Billy Crudup one,
okay, yeah. Because when you said that, I was like, is that the? Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah, it won the Oscar for best original screenplay a few years back, somewhere in the 2001, 2002 range.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Count Von, I love The Burning. That's a early Tom Savini movie.
Okay.
And I think it was either like, it was literally like right before Jason, the first Friday the 13th, or it could have been like right after. It was like right in that time slot. So some people try to say it's like a ripoff of Jason, but it is like, it's so good. And have you seen that one?
No.
It's iconic, man. It's totally underrated. And like here, I'll try to pull up every time though.
I love these kind of streams because people can go through. If you're like, oh, what should I watch? You want to find a good horror movie. Now you go straight here to Dylan's channel. You flip this screen on, and you got a list for you. So many. The chat's good ones. I love it.
Yeah, there's it's like really iconic for these like hedge clippers that he uses here. I got the picture.
While you're looking it up, I would say like a Stephen King 80s movie that I love is Children of the Corn.
Yes, that's a good one. Not one of my biggest like ones that I like, but I always loved it growing up.
Man, so creepy.
Malachi.
Oh man, nothing like
Really?
creepy, awkward children. That's what makes The Shining work. Those twin girls,
Yeah.
creepy AF.
Look at him too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because how he looks, because he gets all burnt. But
Yikes.
he like, dude, he goes around just literally like cutting, dude, just screwing people up big time with these
He
clippers.
looks like the Toxic Avenger.
It's so good, man. I really like that one.
Wow. Learning a lot tonight.
No, that's an indie one too, because a lot of these movies, you know, horror is like a way for a lot of these directors to get in good, even actors, because horror was always known as to be more low budget. So horror was like the way, like, oh, we can get a horror movie done for a few great, like 10 grand or something.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make it's if we do it, if we have there was an amazing documentary that just came out recently. It's 4 hours long, all about 80s horror from
Wow.
80 to not to the 90s. Like go through like all the classics, called In Search of the Darkness. I believe Kat Wren from Comics Corp, she actually purchased the Blu-ray. I was so jealous because I missed it. It was like a Kickstarter, and you only had 1 month to buy it.
And
But
you're
it's
saying it's
4
on?
hours.
Is it on Netflix?
Dude, no. I'm waiting for it to like come on digital because I want to buy it so bad. I've already seen it. I like watched it. I watched like a leaked version of it, and they took it off. So I can't, like, otherwise I'd send you the link. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. But it is amazing. The only bit there, they talk about Tom Savini so much, but he's not even in it. But that was like a perfect guide for you, Ryan. Like it after even me, I'm a big guy, a big horror fan, but it's like you can't know everything. You know what I'm saying? There's once you think you know everything, there's somebody like me who's gonna be like, no, bro, what about this? Or someone like Ryan's gonna tell me about one. It's like mind blown, you know? Trying to think. Yeah, the stuff was a little goofy one.
The Stuff. I don't know that one.
It's kind of like a Blob ripoff about like some yogurt or something that like starts killing people. It's like a Blob though. I think it's yogurt or something. It's goofy though. I'm trying to think. It's a good one though. Damn, there was one. You ever see the TV version of The Shining?
Yeah.
Once.
I actually like it a lot.
All right.
One of my favorite TV movies that Stephen King had was The Storm of a Century.
Yeah. That was a good one.
I love those like movies that kind of have a storm atmosphere and there's a lot more going on.
Well, you get that element, which is so great for good horror, which you were talking about calling that Quentin Tarantino Western a horror.
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. You were like, this is kind of like a horror, because the idea that you're like locked in a confined space and you can't get out, and you're just the people that you're with are the problem. You know, like The Thing. And the Storm of the Century is like that, because this small town is hunkered down, and this man comes asking for their children in the middle of this out of the storm, and they've got to decide what to do. The whole town will get wiped out, or they give over one of their children to this beast, and he'll go away. And it's just the basic premise is creepy as hell. Some
comic book hunter. I don't know if I seen you in here, brother, but thanks for hanging out, Hunter. It might be over from John's stream or John's channel or something, but welcome, brother. Unless you changed your name, because I had somebody named Hunter Thompson who I haven't seen.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to him. He got 54 subs. Okay.
Nice.
Nice to have you here, brother.
Yeah, thanks for joining, man. Yeah, usually we do talk comics, but today we kept it more horror because I heard him mention it. And I was like, man, I got to get in that top 5, but I know Ryan gets into all that stuff, so I just been itching to talk about horror. We can talk comics for a quick second. What do you think of those Hill House books?
I'm getting all of them, but I am not current on all of them.
Yeah.
I haven't read Daphne Byrne yet.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was better than Lola Woods.
Yeah, I haven't read the second issue of that one either, but that one didn't grab me like Dollhouse Family or Basketful of Heads did.
Yeah. I hear great things about Basketful of Heads.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good. Dollhouse Family didn't really pull me until the second issue though. Everyone was saying that was their favorite, and I was like, it's still Basketful of Heads for me. Daphne Byrne was pretty good. We'll have to see how issue 2 goes, but Lola Woods is just not really doing it for me. I'm stuck though because I gotta get my Sea Dogs fix.
Yep.
Because I love that. I'm a bit like Wolfman, werewolves. That's my favorite.
Colonial werewolves. It's the craziest, weirdest. Like it's almost campy.
Dude, I'm even a fan of these.
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh yeah, the
have to
OG stuff. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this stuff. I mean, I grew up watching all of those with my grandfather. And
I was mentioning to Ryan because we were joking about Brendan Fraser and as an actor and some stuff, and I was like, one of my favorite movies he's in is about the director of the original Frankenstein films. He did a movie with Ian McKellen called Gods and Monsters.
really,
and it was the real director of Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein was a man named James Whale, and he fought in World War I.
Yeah.
He had some PTSD as a result of his experience there in the trenches and chemical warfare, and no, not in here, Charlie. Sorry, got to be somewhere else. Sorry.
no,
And as a result of that experience, he had some PTSD. He was gay in Hollywood in that early black and white era, which was not really a cool kind of a thing. And at the end of his life, he was really suffering. And so the film has Ian McKellen playing him, and he has sort of a love obsession at the end of his life with his gardener, Brendan Fraser's character.
yeah.
And, it's a really interesting look at Hollywood, at the way that those films, Frankenstein and the sequel, were created, and how they veered away from the books.
Yeah.
Because he was obviously feeling very persecuted in his life, so he changed the persecution of. He focused on the persecution of the monster as like his themes. It's an interesting film looking at those early Universal horror films.
Meta, this is just our little test drive. Hey, are you free right now? We could bring you on right now, brother. Let me know if you're free. I'll send you the link right now.
I will say my favorite genre of horror at this point in my life, it was like probably slasher stuff when I was little, but I think I just love a good serial killer movie. And the more based in reality it is in some way, the more I like just get into it. And so I think that there's a series on Netflix that I think might get canceled. I think that was the rumor I heard that it's getting unofficially canceled is Mindhunter. And
I know that
that's
one.
Amazing. And so there, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to go deep dive here, but
I haven't started that show.
So
go ahead.
So Mindhunter is a novel, a biography written by a gentleman who started behavioral sciences at the FBI.
Yeah,
which is basically the department that studies serial killers and then figures out the best way to solve those kind of unusual murder cases where motive is not a factor. And he started in the 70s, and he started by trying to convince his superiors that there was a system to catching serial killers.
Yeah.
And he figured it out by traveling to. When he would travel to teach police departments on how to solve these cases, he would interview captured serial killers in prison and use that to inform his behavioral sciences and the profiling, the criminal profiling that they would do for those characters. And so he wrote this book about his life. Then he became the basis for the FBI characters in Silence of the Lambs, the books, and Red Dragon. And that this real FBI agent guy. And then just recently, David Fincher directed and produced this television series, Mindhunter, about his time with the FBI.
Seriously, David Fincher is involved with this?
David Fincher is involved. Yeah,
oh, man, I'm on it now.
It's an amazing series. It has a lot of the actors from Fringe, if you watched that show, the sci-fi show from Fox. But it's a great look at the early days of profiling killers at the FBI and how that behavioral sciences, which is now super commonplace, how that kind of birthed. And they use real case files, real killers as their backstory. And the only fictional elements are the FBI agents that they put in as like stand-ins for the real FBI agents. But they interview Manson. They talk about Son of Sam. They talk about Zodiac. They talk about this particular like killer in I want to say Chicago or back east somewhere, maybe it's Atlanta. So it's a great show, Mindhunter. But yeah, it does sound like they've just released all the actors on that show from their contracts. They said it's because David Fincher's too busy to produce another season, but it seems like it just might not have been popular enough.
They never.
Hunter, you said you just started a YouTube channel a few weeks ago. Well, welcome to the community, brother. But yeah, that's what we are here to do, is talk horror. This one kind of ties into some comic books in a way. Always been a huge fan of this.
Oh,
yeah. I love it, man. I own like the first 5 seasons. I might have even had all 6, but I didn't get the 7th on like the single slips when they were originally coming out at Best Buy.
Wow.
But I got this for like literally $20 on Mercari, so I had to buy. Like I was just like, gotta have it, because I was missing like a disc or two in some of the box sets, and I think the one disc I was missing because I watched it the most was on season 2. The shoot, I can't think of his name, but it's got Demi. I think, is it Demi Moore? I'm trying to think. It's this woman though. The fat one, when she married the gold digger one, when she goes to the gypsy and she tells her she was married to Bruce Willis and Ashton Kutcher. Is that Demi Moore? Okay.
Yeah. I will say that I love Tales of the Crypt, and I saw a bunch of them. But it reminded me of the movie Creep Show. Did you ever see Creep Show?
Oh yeah, that was one I wanted.
It was like little episodic stories that don't need to connect, but they're super creepy in their own ways.
Did you watch the Shudder Creep Show? There was a recent one. It was dude. You know the company Shudder, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of like a digital app, all horror based. Greg Nicotero. I was about to say Nick Nicotero. He was behind the whole thing. I don't think he directed it, but he was behind it all. And that was Tom Savini's Prodigy. So that was really cool. Like they did a lot of cool things. Long story short, you got to watch it. There's 6 episodes, 30-minute episodes, 2 episodes each episode.
Nice.
2 episodes each episode. So you're getting 15-minute segments. So everything felt really rushed and like not really ended well, but there were some really cool aspects to it. Like the Creep looked awesome. The Creep was as best as they could have done, compared to like the second one where they used Tom Savini. It was kind of like the actual Creep from the first one. They definitely went practical with a lot of stuff, but practical, I'd say, with the CGI mixed, which was cool to see. I think it might be the first time I really seen that done, but it got announced for season 2, so I'm hoping they'll take what we kind of complained about, and I hope they'll fix it up, because they should have been half-hour episodes each. Like, I don't want 15-minute segments. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely worth the watch.
Is that a good service to get? I've looked at Shudder a few times in the past, and I'm like, I can't like justify another app or anything, but
it is. I get it every. I get it literally probably a month or 2 before Halloween, because I go like 3 months. I can watch Halloween movies. I mean, horror movies, really. But I literally, like this past year, I got it probably a month before. But I probably started binging my horror movies like every day, like 2 months in advance, like where I was just constantly watching horror stuff. So I think it is worth it. There are times when, like, over Christmas break, they were doing like 4 months or something for like $4. And then it was going to go back up to, I think it might be $8. It's not it's not really expensive, but they do have, over the years, I've been getting it for years. They have recently been getting Shudder originals, like Shudder exclusives type things. And that's what Creep Show is. It's the only place you can watch Creep Show. Maybe you can watch it on Amazon if you buy the episodes now, but it was like a Shudder original type thing. They also did Critters, like Shudder original. I don't know if you ever got into Critters.
I did like the first 2 of those. Those were crazy.
So good. They have a Blu-ray box set, and it was like,
it's very cheesy, very silly.
Yeah. Gremlin type ripoff, but more like Gremlins from space.
They roll around and they shoot these little spines at their victims, and
Didn't see Gremlins either.
It's funny. It's silly. There they are. There's 4 of them. I didn't realize there were 4.
Yeah, there's actually 5 now, and then
wow.
there's a TV show. But the weirdest thing, the Shudder original TV show, it's like the episodes are like YouTube episodes where they're literally like 10 minutes, like 7 minutes. So they should have just done it as a whole. There's like 10 episodes though, but if you put all the episodes together, it could have been just like an hour 20-minute movie or something. It's weird the way they did it, but it had a weird twist, but it was okay. There was one that came out like right before it though, or right after. It's called Critters Attack, and they actually brought Dee Wallace back.
Nice.
But the way it ended was it wrapped up kind of quickly, but I really did enjoy that Critters Attack.
Horror film. She's in like The Howling, and she's in a few films.
That was speaking of like Wolf, because I grabbed some of my discs when I was putting them back. That was one I wanted to talk. I was gonna mention.
Oh, there it is. Boom.
My brother and I were actually watching it recently. I love that one.
I put that one. What's the?
This might be before American Werewolf in London, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would put it above. American Werewolf in London for me is pretty much just a comedy. It's hilarious. Like you should go into American Werewolf in London, just feeling like it's a comedy, because I laughed my butt off watching that movie. He spends like half the movie talking to his dead best friend
in like porn.
The friend dies like right towards the beginning, and then like the story is like he feels like the werewolf is hunting him, but he's also like having visions of his dead best friend who looks like all like scrapped up. He looks like a Beetlejuice dead character, like with like the pale like gray skin, and he's always talking to him, and their conversations between those two guys is a riot. Those things are hilarious.
Yeah, that's a great one. There's another John Carpenter classic I love. Stephen King too. John Carpenter and Stephen King mix. So honestly,
you haven't seen it?
Everyone always thinks of The Thing and Halloween. I always forget about it myself, but this actually might be my favorite Carpenter horror movie. The way he did this, man, it shouldn't have been done. Like, it shouldn't have been possible. Like, I don't know how he did some of these effects. And I just think it still holds up. And yeah, man, it probably, I love it though, man. I've watched it recently and it still holds up and it's still so good.
Sure.
Yeah, I probably give it more of that high praise because I feel it's not recognized as much as it should be. But everyone also talks about The Thing and Halloween, so I try to do a little different one,
It's nice to respect the underappreciated.
I try, dude. That's my favorite type, is like the unappreciated, like the campy stuff. That's why I like Sleepaway Camp. They're a little bit more recognized now, Sleepaway Camp is, but still, man, like they're just gold movies, like when I was growing up, and it's just stuff like, because I didn't have anybody to talk to about these movies, and like now I still don't really have people to talk about in my town or anything. I have to talk to my little brothers about it. Like my little brother I've been getting it. Like I try to get him into all this stuff, and he's into the practical effects like I am. I'd say he likes the older stuff like I do too. I've tried to show him the ways. It's funny, two of my brothers, they love the horror stuff like me, and then my third brother, he actually doesn't really like that stuff at all.
There's always one.
Yeah, and it's my mom. She is a big horror fan. My dad is too, but my dad is more like, he loves the Wolfman stuff. He'll watch all that stuff. He's just not like insane about it like me.
I think because it goes in like eras, like when my dad was coming up, it was like the old school monster films, and that was scary stuff. And then
that's what he likes too.
It goes in eras. People might have one era that they love. Like I know people that are obsessed with those ghost paranormal kind of movies, and that's just their thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but that's their era. And I know people that love the torture porn or whatever, the ones that are just extra graphic, like towards the end of that Saw run when it just really got insane. And that's their thing, and that's fine. Like everybody will find their niche, I think, inside of a genre. For me, I just want it to be almost as real as possible. Like I almost want them all to be set in the 70s, so it just feels like nobody just pick up a cell phone and call, help. And it's like I just want that feeling of genuine peril. The sequence in I don't want to give it away because Ryan might watch it on the plane flight, but the sequence in the car from Zodiac with the woman sitting in the car with the guy, it's one of the most disturbing sequences I've seen in a movie. And like generally nothing happens, but it feels so, the sense of impending doom is so real, and it just goes on way too long, and you're just like so uncomfortable and horrified. That's what gets me, versus, like I love The Thing, but like, okay, there's another creepy monster effect. Exactly. I get it. And I love The Thing. It's probably my favorite Carpenter original.
I like The Thing for the paranoia more than the monsters. Like that's what does it for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you ever see? We were talking Lovecraft last night with Robert Galvin. I love Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in some time, but I do. I have always liked that. It's a little bit more of a slow burn. I don't own that one, so I haven't. I would always try to watch it, and I couldn't find a good copy.
Yeah, so, I mean, I got the cheapo DVD, but Sam Neill is so creepy in this. Like the storyline involving him, and I love the way that it dovetails back onto itself at the end, like the ending and the beginning all wrapped together, and it's just creepy, just awesome and messed up.
Yeah. Count Von, is DC missing an opportunity by not making a TV series with House of Mystery or House of Secrets like EC did with their horror comics? I do think they are probably missing out, because I think HBO is missing out big time. While Shudder is bringing back Creepshow as a TV series, they need to be bringing back Tales from the Crypt, because I love that so much. That I forget what day it aired on HBO, but I was sitting by the TV every week waiting for that new episode.
In general, I think DC is missing a lot of opportunities. I think overall, I think they're not swinging at a lot of good pitches, and so you end up with like something that seems popular, like Swamp Thing, having to get canceled, and I think that as a result, they're missing out on a lot of opportunities overall that I think could be really fun. So I'm generally on the like TV movie side for DC. I think they just haven't figured out how to thread the needle over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say some comic book hunter. Yeah, that's really all I'd be using for my stuff too, is the phone. But you gotta do what you gotta do, brother. If you got a decent phone, it's not too bad. Just use your iPhone or something. It's not that bad. Get iMovie and you should be good, man. Because I prefer editing on my phone than on my computer. I can't find any good software, but
or it's really expensive. Software for editing can be really expensive.
Yeah, I figured, and just don't have the money for that.
A lot of if you're able to afford buying a Mac at some point, most of them come with iMovie put in. Yeah. I love iMovie, and the Jabroni and I share tips for iMovie, but that's what I use for like almost all my videos.
You have a Mac?
I have an older one that's coming up on 9 years old or whatever, and the iMovie still works, and so I shoot everything on my phone. I can import right into the iMovie and then just edit from there.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's just like you have to upload. If you don't have a MacBook for an iPhone, you got to like upload it through Google Drive, and it takes so long, man, just to process. So that is probably my big goal. If I sometime maybe I'll have to start like a little Kickstarter, man, to try to save up for a MacBook, dude. Try to save up money myself and maybe get some donations put towards that.
I mean, they're very
it would help the channel.
They also last so much longer than a typical PC. You get, I mean, I that one's still working really, really well. It's almost 10 years old, and
right.
It's working the daylights away, that Mac.
Yeah, as long as you keep with the updates, I feel like
we've had to replace stuff on it, but it was also under warranty for some of those things, and it's a good computer.
Hell yeah. MacBooks are pretty. I wish I had one, but I've used them and they're nice, man. They're really cool. Yeah, my laptop crapped out on me, dude. It's I hate it, but I only had the crappy like Acer. I'm waiting. I'm hoping my grandfather was gonna try to find me a laptop, but I almost want to be like, I don't know, maybe I should just try to just save for a MacBook, but it'll take me so much longer to get a MacBook because you want to get that $1,000 one with all the stuff instead of like I think it's like a MacBook Air.
Even the $1,000 ones for MacBook Pros are not having. They don't have what you want.
Really?
The $1,000 is like the low end these days with MacBook Pros. Unless you're getting like a smaller size. It depends on the size of the screen, obviously, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Were you about to say something, Ryan?
No, I'm just having fun reading Perry's comments.
Perry's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
He's pulling one up for he's allegedly pulling one up for Kobe.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris Barrett, what's going on, brother?
Yeah.
Kitten Puke, what's going on, man? Good to have you, Kitten Puke.
Never said that sentence before.
Oh, dude, another one I love. I actually like this better than the Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Well, Evil Dead 1 is a pretty flawed movie, which is why they went back and tried to make it all over again with Evil Dead 2. It's basically the exact same movie.
Yeah, because Evil Dead 2 is definitely better. But I just love the it's definitely big nostalgia for me, but I've seen people say that they like this the best too. I just love the huge turnaround, you know what I'm saying?
And it's less of a horror film. It's more of just like a fantasy movie almost.
Yeah. For a while, it is just kind of like a dark fantasy movie, almost like you throw Ash in the Conan world or something.
Absolutely, yeah.
For the longest time, I didn't even know that this was Evil Dead. I almost always thought it was like, because I remember I was like, that's a similar dude. And then as I got older, I'm like, because for a few years, I forgot what the hell the name of this was, because this was a big one I watched with my grandfather. And he would just let me borrow the VHS because this was one you can actually watch. He was kind of strict. He didn't want me watching the big rated R ones. So he showed me all the classics, like the monster movies. And this was one we would just watch over and over. And I didn't even know it was Evil Dead 3 basically until, I got a little older and wiser. But I just love that one.
Well, and it's also like more of a comedy. I mean, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just a fun movie.
Yeah.
Shop smart.
Oh yeah.
Groovy. I don't know if this is kind of a horror, but it's another classic. I love it too. My VHS slipcover, rental only. I love these slipcovers, dude. Like, it's just, and even like
that is cool.
That's cool.
I love it, man. Because I only got this in Halloween 6, but I'm glad as hell to have them. I really love those movies too.
Tom's very mad at me for never having seen or read The Crow, but I have no.
I've never read it. You've never seen the movie though either?
No, I don't know if I want to. Right?
It's a little more knowing that he passed away making it.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, that makes me want to watch it more than not. That at least has some kind of like more cultural relevance that way, I think.
It's so sad just because every time you watch it, you just can't help but think like, dude, this dude died. But that's why you need to watch it because the man gave his life for that movie.
Quite literally. I've been to his grave twice. I've just never
really.
Movie.
It's crazy too because there's like you literally can see the scene that did it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if the exact scene. I'm pretty sure the scene is in the movie.
The scene is in the movie. I think they don't use obviously the footage.
Yeah.
It's the scene when he comes home and he's got the bag of groceries, and the bad guys shoot, and the bag of groceries has the milk carton, and the milk squirts out of the bag or whatever, But the gun had a faulty squib piece, and so when the blank fired, it launched the squib piece, and it hit him.
I didn't know it was that one. I thought it was the one when he like with that junkie one with the girl.
As far as I understand, it's the one when he gets that. It's that one, but maybe I'm Yeah, maybe that's not right.
I could be wrong too, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch that movie again. I do want to see the movie or the book really bad. I forget the writer, but did you hear? I tweeted something on Twitter. It was a what could have been. There was this woman and Donnie Cates. They were gonna do a crow story. It was gonna be like a female crow though. But it, dude, I just tweeted it on Twitter. I'll have to send it to you. And it was like, what could have been? And it was like a little sketch of a girl. Dude, wouldn't that be amazing though? Let's see. I think it was going to be like it was going to be like a gay woman as the crow, possibly. I could be wrong. Every 6 months, a reminder that Donnie Cates and I almost did an 80s California metal the Crow book.
Nice.
Erica Henderson.
That's cool.
Actually, she said, I'm sorry, a lesbian 80s California metal, the Crow book. I'm like, Donnie Cates, you better pull some strings now that you're the man and get that shit done.
Bad joke incoming.
Yeah.
Dude.
Ooh. No, it's not popped up yet.
Uh-huh.
There it is. You mean
Which
the
one?
hen?
Oh, I get
A
it.
female version of the
Female
crow.
crow.
He says the hen.
Oh. You mean the hen.
Yeah.
Hey, what up, Chaos? Glad to have you, brother. You're late. You're late, bro. So what you go back to Seattle, right, Ryan, tonight?
Yep, in about 8 hours or so. Heading home.
Yeah. What did you just do? Came to hang out with John, or was it a little business or something?
Just hanging out. We thought about going to the Comic-Con that was happening today, but
Yeah.
that's too much work.
Dude, well, that's even better, man. Just to come to hang out, like that's what's so cool about this community, like meeting friends, man, and not over just talking like this, man. Now you guys are full-fledged. You guys are about to start a trend.
Yeah.
You guys are like can touch each other. I'm waiting for Perry. I'm waiting for Perry's joke on that one.
We went and we did lots of good Cali driving on freeways, eating In-N-Out burgers,
Yep.
and hitting some comic
Three
book
comic
shops.
shops.
Yeah, 3 comic book shops.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was good. It was good times.
Watch some good movies. I'll probably watch them.
I think Perry's going back and forth because Rod's online. I went to Rod's chat and I'm like, how dare you go live when me, John, and Ryan are on.
Damn you.
I forget he's on with 2 brothers. The shout out.
Rod's doing his chat.
Rod don't mess with me no more. I don't think Rod don't mess with me no more. He never hits me up. He just he never shouts me out. Like what the hell? I miss Rod, man. I love his hat, man. I was watching the show the other day, and somebody had put one on with him and Jabroni. There, I forget who it was. Something comics and something, and they were showing off all these awesome books. And I was like, man, Rod just got that hat down. You know, he's got the lid flipped just right. It's so funny. Look at Perry wilding again.
He sent a message. Sorry. Oh, it's too long. I'm not reading that.
I need a nap or a fish fillet.
That's too long.
I'm not too sure, but one thing I do know that is if you read this entire thing, you're probably a boomer named, John and I wasted time. You totally got me. He didn't get you, John.
The word boomer for anybody who sounds like they're old.
Any old guy who doesn't agree with me.
So
Isn't that from a recent indie comic?
My dad is a boomer.
Right.
Like legitimately a baby boomer. So that would be impossible for me. Yeah. I think I'm still considered Generation X, but I'm on the border of X and Y. I think
I'm a millennial.
You're a millennial. There you go.
So would I be a millennium too?
Probably
94.
There's an even more millennially generation beneath us.
Yeah. What year are you, Ryan? I'm 94.
I am 89.
89.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were younger. So no, because Comic Tom, is Comic Tom the same age as you?
He's actually younger.
He's younger?
Oh yeah. I think he's a good 3 years younger than me. He's told me so many times. I should know exactly how far apart we are, but I don't.
Yeah. He's
He's
probably like my age then, I guess. I told his ass too. He's like, here's my email. He probably never read the email because if he's like me, man, my email gets so overcrowded with just crap from over the years. But
folders in there.
I gotta get both of you guys on the channel, man, together. So you gotta send him a message and be like, I was on Dylan's show and he said he better get you on.
That.
Exactly. Tom would be better at this horror movie conversation, I think, than I apparently am.
Well, tell him I'd love to be get you, John, and get Meta on here and get obviously Tom too. But I don't know if you guys, dude. I didn't know he was big into horror. I know he's a big Hellblazer guy, but I don't know if I've ever really heard him mention
horror film for sure.
Dude, that would be really cool to get him on then.
Just Bernie Gates and the Crow. I think you should tweet that at him. I don't think he knows about that. At least I do.
Oh, I will. I'll have to. Does he have Twitter? If not, I can just IG it to him.
He does have Twitter.
He's on every social media.
Yeah.
I don't like
what am I thinking? He's a young buck.
Yeah, I don't have the patience for a Twitter, especially. But
me either, man. I have it, but I really don't use it. Or sometimes I'll check see what the creators are talking about, but really, man, I like IG the best.
Yep, me too.
And I used to use Facebook a little bit, but I don't even use that anymore. Sometimes I just use the Facebook Messenger to talk to people.
Yeah, I do that a little bit. Just most of the comic core guys, they like the Facebook Messenger. I like Instagram.
Yeah, same. I actually canceled my because I had two Facebooks. Well, I had one and I created one because I didn't kind of want to merge my personal Facebook with the comic book channel. It won't let me do like Dylan's comic book rants. So now I got all my old personal friends adding me. Adding me on the new one. I'm like, dude, I was like, you're already friends with me on the other one.
Personal Facebook.
Oh,
yeah. But I deleted the personal just because I had like 1,000 friends and I'm like, I don't even want them like in my business, just because there's some guys, I would just have more haters out there, honestly, just because people.
I don't trust it enough, so I made mine's totally fake. It has a different last name, different birthday. Every once in a while, I get messages. People say, "Hey, happy birthday!" And I'm like, "It's not my birthday." Sorry. Yeah. You must know me on Facebook. Sorry.
That's right.
Oh man,
I'm a liar on Facebook.
Yeah, I deactivated my main one because then I was getting Comics Club shared something with my name, and then he accidentally shared it to a personal one because I added him before I made the comic book Facebook. So I was like, damn. I'm like, they could have found out about me. Actually, one of my buddies did too, and I was like, I told you I did it. Like one of my few friends that's into comics, because I only have 2 friends. I have another friend who's just more into the movies, not really into the comics though. I mean, he probably is. He just doesn't go out and buy them, So he's like, dude, you're doing a channel? He's always out of town. I'm like, yeah, bro, I tried to tell you that months ago. Duh. But he actually reads books sometimes. He's more into anime comics. I'm trying to think. Manga.
Yep.
Yeah. You into manga?
I'm trying to be more open. I'm actually horror. I found is the best way to get into that world.
Okay.
I just discovered Junji Ito, and he's an insane Japanese horror comic writer.
Yeah.
And those are fun.
Yeah. I know Death Note is a big one. Death Note.
Yeah. I read that one.
I never read it. I've seen the anime though.
I had to get this for Gore Vidal's comment here. He
oh wow.
Okay, so
there's a whole thing.
My wife got this framed for me. So Gore Vidal mentioned The Limey, which is a great noir film.
I saw that
in some ways, and so this is my Limey poster. Again, you got airplanes and palm trees and cigarette smoke and one sort of greasy old detective. It's kind of the same style of Chinatown, but it's sort of a modern version. But a great movie, and I loved this poster. And my wife got it framed for me when she did the Chinatown one. They used to hang side by side. We just don't have the room for it right now. So that's for you, Gore.
I don't know if I've seen that.
That's Steven Soderbergh.
Me either.
Right after he did Out of Sight and before he did Traffic.
I don't know him.
I know. I heard Traffic, but I think that sounds familiar. Perry, you went with your fish fillet, you high ass motherfucker. You know you went with like 2 fish fillets and a large fry. Don't clown me, bro. I can't mess with the fish fillet. And if I do it, just get it plain. But I'd be rather having that 1/4 pounder, dog.
Almost anything else.
Yeah. 1/4 pounder and bacon. I just get it. See, the thing is with fast food, I don't even get any like toppings on it because I don't trust these motherfuckers, man. They are so sloppy. The more shit you get on it, the sloppier it's gonna be. I'm like, yo, y'all can barely get it right when I get plain shit, so I keep it plain. And I'll add, like, if it's ketchup or I like it better usually plain. But if I really want like ketchup or mustard, but I'm not a mustard guy. I'll just put it on myself.
You have to be high to eat a fish fillet. Chris Barrett.
That's
actually, I feel like that's accurate.
That's accurate as hell. But my mom loves them. They're okay. It just depends what batch you get of the day, because you could get a fresh one that might be the best, but otherwise you might get one that's been sitting there for 8 hours, dude, and that they just heat, and it's the 3rd time they've heated it up in the microwave.
John, you're missing the fillet of fish portion of the show.
Oh, geez. Looks like the chat's derailing.
Yes.
The what's
Unsurprising.
You know one that's an underrated Stephen King one that I love? The Night Flyer.
So underrated. I have not
I
experienced
don't
it.
think I've seen it.
Hold on, I got it right here. It's an HBO one, and it's actually hard to get this DVD. Basically, I'm surprised this cover is like famous just for the cover, because everyone remembers this cover, I feel like. This was one that I just, I cover bought it or cover rented it when I was a kid. There's just those covers or VHS covers that you would see and you're just like, that looks awesome, and you would rent it. This was one of them, and it's about a vampire that kind of would just go from airport to airport at night, and he was just flying at, like, he had his own airplane, and he would just rain terror when he would come in at night off this airplane. He would just, feed on a few people and bounce and keep. And then this reporter who, Miguel Ferreira, he's the main guy. He's the reporter, and he's like chasing this guy down. And it almost has like Zodiac vibes at times when he's trying to find him, because the guy's almost like a ghost, and he has like this alias name that he goes under, the vampire. It's really cool though.
I agree, Chris Barrett. I would say that's my favorite Stephen King film, Shawshank Redemption. Sorry.
The Mist. I'll take Mist all day. All day, The Mist.
The Mist. That's a Stephen King. Yeah. Because I always think of The Fog by Carpenter. But yeah, The Mist.
Thomas Jane. And who else is in that? Is Jason Lee in that?
No, I don't know who's in it, but it's the grocery store one.
The grocery
Thomas
store.
Jane and like the entire cast of The Walking Dead is pretty much in that movie.
Yes, yeah.
Trying to think.
But for me, yeah, I'm Shawshank all the way.
Shawshank's so good. Have you seen Castle Rock?
I haven't.
I watched like the pilot, but I want to go back and watch the whole thing. I don't think I have the references.
Season 2 I really liked because it's kind of prequel to Annie Wilkes from Misery, and the woman they got was fantastic. And actually, oh shoot, it's gonna kill me. The guy from Shawshank,
Tim Robbins.
Thank you. Yeah, he's in season 2 of Castle Rock.
Tim Robbins.
And season 1 they have the guy who plays Pennywise in the new one. So
Okay.
yeah. So he's two Stephen King things. It's worth the watch.
Dylan or something.
No, it ain't. His name's not Dylan. It's something else.
Peter Sarsgaard, right?
Yeah.
There's like 10 of them.
No, that actually he might not be Peter. He might be somebody else. There is Dylan. There is a Dylan O'Brien, I think, maybe. You guys like Pet Sematary? I love 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the second.
I like the book more than the movie.
Oh, yeah, the book is perfect, but I love the movie.
Oh, we didn't
It's
even
so
mention
good.
Misery. I mean, holy cow, that's a
Yeah, that's why I was gonna say
name.
when I brought up Annie Wilkes.
Yeah,
It's awesome to see, like, because the Castle Rock 2 season 2 is like a prequel of Annie Wilkes, and it's awesome. You kind of figure out how she ended up to being her, and the woman is just amazing. I actually, after I watched Castle Rock season 2, I like watched Misery like 3 times. It's so good. Kathy Bates and James Caan. Hey, what up, Captain Pennsylvania? Glad to have you, brother. Dude, oh man, I can't believe I forgot about it.
Near Dark.
Dude, my 2 favorites, Stephen King's Silver Bullet, Salem's Lot. My favorite book is Salem's Lot.
Good choice.
Dude, I love Salem's Lot. I can't believe I forgot about it. That's another one I got on Blu-ray too.
I think Near Dark is an underrated vampire movie.
Near Dark. Yes. That's got the guy
Bigelow, the lady that did
the guy from Aliens.
Yeah, it's got Paxton.
They're all around us, man. They're all around us.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Bill Paxton and that dude. When he dies, I'm like, God damn it, let the other guy die.
The lady that did the Hurt Locker, that was a great movie, war movie. Near Dark was her first directing job. That was a good
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's one that I feel like gets talked about sometimes, but not as much as it should. It's a cool one. That's why I like it. The Near Dark, in a way, kind of reminds me of vampires, but not really.
Dylan, tomorrow you should send me an Instagram message. I will forget. I forget everything. I have a very, very nice hard copy, limited edition of Salem's Lot. I'll send you some pictures of it.
Swear.
It's cool. I've opened it. I haven't read it yet, though. I'm scared to read those things.
So it's like a comic book form, right?
No, it's a novel. It's just blown. It's a huge, oversized, hardcover, limited edition artwork.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's good.
Dude, that's awesome. I'll message you after the show. I still got my copy of Salem's Lot. It's just a soft back, but I literally have it. It's one because I had a lot more of his books growing up, like The Shining and stuff. I lost. I don't know what happened to some of them. I don't know what the hell, but I have a good amount. Like there's one that has a lot of his short stories. I believe it's the one you were talking about, The Needful Things, it might be called, or shoot, it's got like a wine glass. It's like an all white cover with a wine glass and red wine spilling out, and it has a bunch of his famous short stories. I got Pet Sematary on hardcover, like the cover I got too. It might be one. I don't know. It's early printing, I feel like, but yeah, I have it. I got it, that one. I ended up rebuying that one because I lost it. The Shining was always a good one. I had Cujo. I had a lot. Dreamcatcher. I had a lot. Dreamcatcher was like, oh my God, so big and daunting.
I read an interview with him recently, and I think Stephen King said that was his least favorite book of his.
Which Salem's Lot?
Dreamcatcher.
Dreamcatcher, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't. I don't know how he put so much time into that fucker, though.
I think he wrote that like in the peak of his like cocaine phase, or maybe that was right after he got in that car accident and was like on the verge, and
dude, I
wouldn't career.
Let me see. I think I have it might be under. But this is my Pet Sematary one with all the dust. I feel like that's an early one too. I don't know.
Original cover?
Yeah, it's the original cover.
That's what I thought, man. I mean, I don't know if it's like a first printing. I know the first printing of The Shining is worth some money.
I can imagine.
Yeah, he even had the screenplay of Creepshow on here.
Huh.
I don't know. Usually they would say in the front. I thought. I don't think this is probably for no first printing. But it's still cool. I always loved it. It's such a good one. I like can't stand the remake. I tried to watch it, and I got through it all once or twice, but it literally took me a couple times to actually finish the movie. And it's a shame because the trailer ruined the whole movie. Have you seen it?
From last year, like the brand new one?
Yeah. Well, if you've seen the trailer, I feel like I don't think you guys will care if I spoil it because they spoil it in the trailer. If you've seen the movie, in the original, the little boy dies. So in the trailer for the new one, they show that the girl is going to be the one to die in the remake. So when I'm watching the movie, they do a bait and switch where you actually think it's going to go the way that the original one was going to go. You're like, oh shit, here it comes. They're about to kill the boy.
Right.
But because they ruined it in the trailer, you're like, this is just a bait and switch. If they never put that in the trailer, you would have been like, I can't say because they ruined it. I would have been like, oh shit, they totally, switched it, but they ruined it in the trailer. So you're just like, ruined it. But it's just not a good movie, honestly, anyways, because all that they have, like Jason Clarkman or whatever, going back and forth with, I can't think of John Lithgow. And it's just,
I would think whatever his name is, the old man in the original Pet Sematary.
they're like sitting down talking the whole time. You can't get back here. It's everything's eventual.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah. This one's got some good ones in it, though. 14 Tales. I think this is... Wait. Or no, this isn't the Nightmares and Dreamscapes one. I think this has maybe Riding the Bullet in it, though. It's a good one, though. 1408 and Riding the Bullet are in this. The Man in the Black Suit. There's some good ones in there. I want to get more because some of his short stories are actually some of his best stories.
The Mist.
Yeah.
Short story.
Ryan's not letting that one go.
Love it, man.
Yeah. That one is weird. I feel like I've never seen it all because that's the TV series, right?
No,
it's like
a crappy TV series of it like a year or two ago that was really bad.
Okay, yeah.
Also, Under the Dome was turned into a very terrible TV series.
Mm-hmm.
Filmed by Frank Darabont, I think, back in 2007 or 8 or something. It's one of the most it's a horror movie that completely shook me and made me question mankind's place in the universe, and it was actually my introduction to H.P. Lovecraft.
Swear, I don't know how much of H.P. Isn't H.P. Lovecraft like the Reanimator?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one, but I never was that crazy about it growing up. It was more one that I kind of started to like as I got older.
The Reanimator movie is campy and silly, and it's almost played for jokes. But the book version, the short story that he wrote, is really scary, and it's about it's the same thing. It's about a guy trying to find a formula that can bring people back from the dead, but it's not played for laughs like the movie was.
Shining is one of the worst books I've read. I don't know if it's the worst book. When I read it years ago, it wasn't as cracked up as I thought to be. See, I'll tell you, man, I don't care I loved The Shining growing up. Over the years, though, I kind of like the TV series better. Because Stephen King doesn't like it. See, I think The Shining is its own thing. I don't really look at it as a Stephen King movie over the years, because it's kind of so far off of what he wrote in the book. Because the book is way better, I think, than Kubrick's version. I don't know. That's just me. I still do really like Kubrick's version, but I just feel like it's got aspects of the book, but he kind of turned it into his own thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just what I thought after I read this, because I saw the movie, then I read the book, and then years ago I heard that Stephen King always hated it.
Yeah,
he hated what Stanley Kubrick did, and then he did his own TV series one, which was more he wrote the whole script for the TV series, so it's straight like the book. It's definitely no masterpiece or anything, but I did enjoy it. When I'm thinking of the book to the movie.
Right.
Closer adaptation.
For sure.
I freaking have 2 copies of The Shining, so I mean I do love it, but it's a slow burn at times, Jack Nicholson is the best thing in that movie to me.
Well, and obviously you can't, Stanley Kubrick is on another plane. That guy's lights out. And I think somebody even said in the chat, Chris Barrett, he just latched into creating something that was adjacent to what King was trying to do, and told it in a way that just built on all the themes in a really cool way.
Yeah.
So it's a superior film. I just don't know that it is directly a direct adaptation or anything.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of why I always just never associate it as even him. I don't know.
I know that King was really upset about the croquet mallet. I think that's one of the more ridiculous parts of the book and looks stupid on screen is trading an axe.
Yeah.
You know, the axe was a good decision by King.
Yeah.
A croquet mallet is not scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit silly. It's, you know, that's why Harley Quinn uses that, an oversized one as her ridiculous weapon. It doesn't make sense in The Shining that he's running around with a croquet mallet.
I know. That was always so goofy. That's why I think he did make, you know, Kubrick did a great thing in that movie. It's just some things he did screw up on, like the ending when they said he's such a perfectionist, and then there's no cold breath at the end. But that's just like little stuff. I never even noticed that growing up, you know.
I didn't either. Yeah, I remember hearing about it later, but I was like, yeah, I didn't notice.
Have you seen Dr. Sleep?
No.
I wanted to wait till I read it first.
I wish I would have read it because I hear it's such an amazing book. I still will read it. Now I wanna sign up for Audible just to listen to the audiobook of The Outsider, because after I saw those first 2 episodes, I'm like, holy crap. I've seen all 3, but
Can I ask a
question? Amazing. Go ahead.
How much? So in the first 2 episodes of The Outsider, right? It's about this, like, it's a murder mystery. So you might actually like it. There's a kid that gets killed, and Jason Bateman's character
Yeah,
is
I've seen the trailer
on camera in 2 different places. But in the background of this, like, detective murder mystery, there's this, like, he looks like Bruce Willis in Unbreakable, kind of like a guy in a poncho, kind of like hiding in the background of all these scenes, and he's just kind of looking really creepily, and he walks away really fast, and it's like
a distorted face.
Is that do they keep? I don't know. That's what I'm most interested in. I want to see what.
I haven't read the book, but I haven't really. I didn't want to get into spoilers because when I was hearing some non-spoiler reviews for the book, people were saying they put it in their top 5 best Stephen King books of all time. They were saying that the twist is totally original and it's just something you've never even really heard of or seen from Stephen King. And the way it seemed like that he's gotten a little better at endings over the years, you know. It seems like, you know, he has been, he still puts out books, you know, from time to time. And it's Dr. Sleep. I didn't even know that he actually wrote that book 8 years ago or something. But, you know, he's still cranking shit out. And it looks like in a way he's gotten better in his age. He still has his classics that will always be amazing. But I think people are really digging some of his new stuff because The Outsider is a really new book. I feel like that book, I'd have to look it up. It's
3 episodes.
Yeah, the 4th one's tonight, and it's only a miniseries. I think it's a short.
It's Netflix,
thing.
right? Yeah.
HBO.
Oh, it's HBO.
HBO.
Even better.
Dude, it's got 9 out of 10 on IMDb.
We're gonna need to wrap up here, Dylan, because we haven't. I'm gonna start.
Yeah, I figured.
Making noises here.
It is. It's actually making quite a few sounds down there.
No worries, man. I kind of wanted to keep it at the 2 hours anyways, because I know, you know, I keep a good replay going, you know. Some people get intimidated by the 6-hour streams. But we went longer than I thought we were. I didn't know if you would only have an hour or so. Wanted to try to get 2018. May 22nd, 2018, The Outsider was published. So they went fairly. That's really quick.
How'd they even quick?
They must have had the story before they published it.
Really, as soon as that thing came out and the reviews, and they must have snatched up those rights quick. Yeah. But let's let them know real quick, my guys, if you guys got anything going on. I'm gonna get my outro going.
This is it. I think we're planning a movie, and that might be about it, unless somebody wants us to jump in at some point on something else they're doing later today. Ryan's got that Comic Tom 101. You can find Ryan over there all the time, podcasting. I've got shows on Wednesday, so you can catch me on Book Club. You can catch me on the greatest comic book show ever on the Comic Core. So, sorry, Karen. And hopefully we'll get a review video this week, but it's been this has been my plan all along.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad we could do this. I wanted to. I said me and Meta were gonna do a horror stream. We didn't know. We haven't really worked out the details, but comics, and the movies. But I just loved when you were talking about the top 5 80s and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, I got it. I didn't know you were as big into that because I know you're sci-fi with sci-fi big fan, action fan, but I didn't know you're into horror, man. It's just so awesome to find horror fans. Because like I said, I don't know too many that are as nuts about it as I am. So it was just great doing this stream, man. And I hope to get metaphorical on the next one that we can do. So maybe make it,
Meta's on club on Wednesday night too, so I get to hang with him on my channel on Wednesday night.
I've already hung out with him. Cool.
I didn't know, yeah, because me and him do a show on Wednesday night as well. So, or that might be, no, that's Tuesday night. Okay. Tuesday night, yeah. Before new comic book day. But yeah, I'm gonna have to jump in on that Wednesday show maybe one of these days. But yeah. Well, sorry to keep you guys. I appreciate everyone in the chat hanging out. You already know I'm dropping videos daily. You can catch me on all social media outlets under Dylan's Comic Book Rants. And dude, just keep that notification bell hit so when I drop a video, you'll get the update. And you guys know I'm always like Deadpool, man. I'm in everyone's stream or I'm in everyone's chat. So I'm around, man. Just holler at your boy, and we'll catch you on the next one. Let's see.
Right.
Dylan, you son of a bitch.